Have you ever heard of Joey Drew Studios? Probably. But have you heard the real story behind it? The reason that ink demons were seen as violent creatures. The reason that ink demons became extinct, all but one, and a few created, not born. Did you ever wonder what happened to all their workers? Well, I personally know. Years ago, the studio opened with a crew of voice actors and an actress, an animator, and of course, the creator himself, Joey Drew. As pie-cut animation and black and white movies turned to Technicolor and Disney, Joey Drew Studios began to go under. But Joey didn't want this to happen. No, he couldn't let it happen. In an attempt to save what was left of his small studio, he thought the only thing that could save it was bringing the characters to life. It started by depicting ink demons as monsters who needed to be killed, going to the last village of them and killing all but one, taking that one in as a weapon of sorts, I guess you could say. He used her as a base for his own creations. The three main characters of his cartoon series, Bendy, the dancing demon, were now real characters, real people you could talk to, not just the voices behind them. Allison Angel, Bendy himself, and Boris the Wolf. Because their voices weren't quite ready to be used in the cartoon series, as their voices weren't matured enough yet, the voice actors and actress stayed in the place. But after they found out what Joey had been doing, they wanted no part in it. Joey couldn't have this. Joey needed the popularity, and Joey couldn't have people going out there and telling the world what he'd been doing. So he started to change them. He started to use them in his experiments too. Starting with one of the demons to see if it would even work, using Project Alice, an injected life form of sorts that created an alternate personality in Allison, a completely different voice even. When he found out that this worked, he knew that it would work on humans as well. His first victim was Susie Campbell. Upon injection, ink began to pour from her mouth and down her cheeks like tears. Her hair was dyed a dark, dark brown. Her skin turning a pale yellow with black fading up her arm. It was almost like the ink was swallowing her, becoming her. After two of the guys found out, one named Sammy and one named Thomas, Joey started to find another threat. When he decided to use the experiment on Sammy, stuff went wrong. He wasn't turned into a character nor a demon, and he was clouded. His vision, that is. His mind. He began to worship what Joey had turned Bendy into, this monstrous demon thing. And he thought that he was in the right. Thomas, however, did turn into a character. The very character he voiced. Boris the Wolf. He lost his arm in the process, hence the mechanical arm that he normally wears now. There was only one worker who got away from that incident, and it was Henry Stein, the animator. And he kept looking for an excuse to go back, to go save them, to go help them, do anything to make sure that they were all right. He loved working with this crew. This was his family, after all. After the crew was gone and used, and Bendy was now this demonic creature, Joey started to branch off. He turned the 3 Butcher Gang members into these destroyed, torn up, demonic forms that didn't remember anything of what they were, or mostly anything. He found a way to turn Boris into a mindless fighting machine, though he never used it. No, not until the last minute, that is. And eventually, he separated Alice from Allison, leaving Allison in the mangled form and Alice as a completely separate entity, living in her own body, but slightly more fragile than the others. The story turned to legend, and this legend to myth, and this myth into a campfire story they would tell at Camp Starlight to keep the kids from swimming in the dark without supervision. But when an escaped ink demon, you may know her as Alex, meets an unlikely set of heroes, do you think they're gonna heed the warning? Thank you for listening to this haunted tale. There'll be more stories to come as more drawings come out this April. I'm excited to do this as it reminds me of the old days when I would do tragic backstories, but more planned out and more well written. I'm hoping to branch out on some of those old tragic backstories as this series goes on, as well as it branches into these art challenges I found on Instagram. If you do like this style of video, please like and subscribe, because I'll be making a lot more in the future. Anyways, happy birth month bash, day 1, everyone. Stay safe, drink water, eat something, take your meds if you have them, have a good day, and as always, I'm the Little Skeleton Wizard, signing off. Goodbye.